original copy of Dr. Pittsburgh's deposition. Yeah, no objection, Your Honor. In fact, the exhibits that were admitted during that deposition, specifically, I described them as 10 and 11.
Right.
I'd like to have those redesignated as D and E.
Okay.
And submitted evidence. Thank you.
Also, plaintiff would like to read into evidence life expectancy tables for the plaintiff. This is from the U.S. Census and Social Security Administration tables, Your Honor.
I haven't seen them, Judge. I have a copy on it.
Do you object?
No. It's from the U.S. Census Social Security.
So I'd like to read the life expectancy of the event, Your Honor.
All right.
For the plaintiff, Christy Klein, on the date of her fall, August 16, 2009, she had a life expectancy of 47.6 years to live. And ultimately, when she was 34 years old, and ultimately, as of the date of the trial, when she was 39, she had 42.9 off of that numbers.
To the court, we'll Paul, Mark,
I think I got it marked correctly, Paul.
Yes, that is your number 3.
all right.
What's the exhibit number?
Number 3.
Number 30.
Calculation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I am correct, Your Honor.
You better read that into the record again, because I think I had the sidebar on. Why don't you read it into the record again? Make sure that it got on there clear. I know the jury heard you, but for the record.
The life expectancy of Christy Klein, as of when she was 34 years old, as of the date of the fall, is 47.6 years to live. And an alternate date is the date of the trial, when she was 39, she had 42.9 years to live.
Okay. All right. Do you rest now? All right. Mr. Hollick, you want to call your first witness?
Yes, sir. We're ready for the defense.
All right. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Gavin Crow.
So you want to raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Please be seated.
Morning. Morning. Could you tell us your full name and spell it, please, for the record?
Gavin Ryan Crowe, GAVIN-RYAN-CROWE.
Okay, and how old are you today, Mr. Crow?
35 years old.
And where are you from originally?
St. John, Indiana.
And just summarize for us briefly your educational background. Where you went to school, where you got out.
I went to Lake Central High School and graduated in 1998.
Okay, and where do you live now?
In Griffith, Indiana.
Married, kids?
Engaged, I have 5 kids.
Or divorced before that?
Yes.
How old are your kids?
16, 12, 11, 7, and 2.
Representative sales rep. Where are you employed?
Striker Van Tillis.
And what location?
Him on Sibley Street
How long have you been employed with Striker Van Tillis?
since February of 2009.
And can you tell us what positions have you held with Striker Van Tillis?
When I was hired in as a manager trainee, then I was tournament manager, I'm on food
What stores do you start at?
Sure.
Okay, and that's where the Simpson National?
Yes.
All right, so initially your management training, and how long was your training program?
From February to roughly November of 2009.
Okay, and are you being trained for any particular management position within the store?
At that time, I was trained to be a printer manager.
Okay. All right, so is it typically on training?
Yes, sir.
So you work under the supervision of the various managers?
Yes.
Did you complete that training at the Sherville store?
Yes.
And what position did you have after that?
Printer manager at the Munster location.
Okay. And what were your duties as a front-end manager?
At that store, I was in charge of all the cashiers, all the UCs, safety and sanitation.
Okay, so you're the safety manager too? What are UCs?
Utility clerks, they do various jobs between bagging groceries, cleaning floors, cleaning bathrooms, helping us space the aisles, walk it, sweep the aisles, various duties throughout the store.
All kinds of things. You have to say yes or no?
Yes.
And how long were you the front-end manager at the Munster Strat?
Yes, sir.
Who, by the way, do you remember that this doesn't happen on August 16, 2009?
Yes.
How far along were you in your management training at the time of this incident?
Roughly 6 months.
And who was the supervisor of the Stratton and Till store back at that time?
Store manager or supervisor, like DM.
Well, what's the DM?
District manager would supervise several stores, and store manager would be store manager.
Okay, well, who was the store manager then?
Doug Manziel.
Okay, and then who was the district manager?
That's correct.
Okay, he's the grandson of the founder.
Yes.
Would he visit the store on a regular basis back then?
At least once or twice a week.
Did he do that with all the Stratton and Till stores?
All of his stores, yes.
All right, how long then were you front-end manager at the Munster store? Just approximately.
2.5 years.
Okay. And then what was your next change in
I went to the Hammond store and currently now as a front end manager there also.
Okay, so same duties, different location. And how long have you been at the Hammond store?
Then August 1st, 2012.
What were your, do you remember what your duties would have been back on August 16, 2009?
I was one of the managers on duty that day, help supervising the store and the front end.
Now, the different levels of management within the store itself?
Yes, sir.
And I assume the store manager is responsible for all of the operations?
Yes.
Inside, outside, all around?
Right. In the typical second and third store, there's store manager in charge, grocery manager would be the second in charge, non-foods, and then assistant front end manager, then at some store there's assistant front end managers.
Okay, and what's a customer service manager?
CSM would be the person who's in charge of the cashiers and the UCs for their scheduled shift. They would schedule breaks, coordinate getting breaks and doing carts and doing the various jobs and help flow the traffic flow of customers.
Is the customer service manager the person who's at the podium in the front?
Yes.
Can I close the witness, Judge?
Yes.
Now, back on August 16, 2009, did you have occasion to respond to the scene involving the plaintiffs in this case?
Yes.
Do you recognize them from today?
Yes.
And, well, let me show you what's Defendant's Exhibit A in evidence. You see it from where I'm standing?
Yes.
There was actually a small copy in front of me, too. If you need a closer look. I think, yeah, it's the first one. That's the next one. There you go. Okay, so we're looking at the same thing? Yes, sir. Okay. So So is this the first page of the customer injury report you prepared that day?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember how you were called to the scene?
Roughly, I don't remember going there with Alana to,
Okay. So you and Alana arrived there together?
to my best knowledge, yes.
So what did you see when you got there?
The claim was standing there, left me.
Okay. Was your husband there at that point when you arrived?
I don't remember.
You remember anybody else being there aside from Mrs. Klein when you first got there? Okay. Yes, say yes or no.
Yes.
All right. And so then you were going to do the report as part of your management training too?
Correct.
Learned by doing?
Yes, sir.
So is this, page 1 of the Exhibit A, is this all your handwriting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, date of the incident, got the time, it's about 11:30 a.m. And it's got the identifying information with regard to the plaintiff,
Yes, sir.
name, address, phone number, that kind of stuff. Right?
Yes.
And it shows that an ambulance was declined,
Correct.
and then it's just dated on the bottom.
Correct.
Page 2 of Exhibit A. And again, I'm kind of looking upside down, but there's a narrative at the top,
Yes.
and this is in your handwriting?
Yes, sir.
And is this the information draft from Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
And just read it for us, so I don't have to read upside down.
The cousin was walking from the front of the proposed aisle 20, about halfway down the aisle. She slipped on in a little puddle of water and landed on her knee.
Okay, and over there, somebody wrote left it. Oh, no, that's the front page. Oh, you know what? Read the front page, too. It's my fault.
Date of incident 8/16/09.
Well, not the whole thing, just the nature and extent of it.
Fell on wet floor. When she fell, she fell her knee on the floor, bruised and scraped.
Okay. And then the narrative on page 2 again is similar, different wording. Correct?
Correct.
And is this, again, this is the information you got from Mrs. Klein?
Yes, sir.
And then did she sign it underneath your narrative?
Yes.
And whose handwriting is it at the time?
That'd be mine.
And then the bottom, is that your handwriting too?
Yes, sir.
And your signature at the bottom? Now, I know she mentioned she was halfway down the aisle.
Yes.
Did you see any of the spill when you got there?
No.
Do you know why?
The utility clerk already came and cleaned up the spill.
I'm sorry, say it again?
A utility clerk had already been there and started cleaning up the spill.
Okay. Well, by the way, when you were there, did you want her to pay all of Mrs. Klein's medical bills?
No, I didn't.
Did you hear Alana make that kind of statement?
No, I did not.
Are you even authorized to make that kind of statement?
No, I did not.
Do you remember if there were any cones out when you arrived?
Yes, it was.
And apart from preparing the report, and interviewing the client, what else did you do?
We took pictures of the scene,
Okay.
so we sent those to our insurance company.
So was it a digital camera?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show you. And again, I've got them enlarged. They're in that same packet under C. And C1?
Yes.
Okay, see I have an enlarged one here too.
Yes.
You know, there's slightly different view. It's actually a wider view in the enlargements
Right.
than that view, and it's also clearer for some reason. But I better call it clearer. But in any event, these are is this a photo you took?
Yes.
And is this was this photo taken at or near where the incident happened?
We're close to it, yes.
And when she described the substance on the floor, how was it described to you?
It was described as a clear substance that ran down the middle of the aisle.
All right, so C1 shows the plaintiff, and there's two kids.
Yes.
Actually, another one. C2. So another view of the plaintiff with an ice pack and a smiling daughter. Yes?
Yes.
Now, who gave her the ice pack? Do you recall?
It was either myself or one of the
By the way, when you got to the scene, did you see anybody standing eating pizza?
No, sir.
C3. What are you showing us there with that photograph?
The type of footwear she was wearing.
Okay, and why do you take a picture of the footwear?
That's part of the protocol that we've been trained to do.
Is it also to check and see if there's any kind of substance on the shoes?
Yes.
Did you note any kind of substance on the shoes? Did you note whether any of the clothes were wet?
No,
C4. Similar view, just different angle.
yes.
And is it your understanding that was the Klein shopping cart there?
Yes.
C5, I guess just another view of the footwear.
Yes, sir.
And there's one other here. C6?
Yes.
Okay, is this another photo you took?
Yes.
And it just shows the view down the aisle?
Correct.
And this is a frozen food aisle, by the way. Is that right?
Yes.
How many frozen food aisles were there?
That's my knowledge. I believe there was 2.
Okay. Would this have been well, the front of the store is south.
Yes.
And
I was standing from the front of the store looking toward the back of the store.
when you took this photo, let's stop and look. Here, look at the one.
I was standing from the back store in front of the store.
Okay, so you're generally looking southbound in C6.
Yes.
Okay. And again, these are they're kind of like sandwich boards, I guess, the first couple. The third one's one of those collapsible kind of pyramids.
Yes.
Are these the things that were out when you arrived?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, did you have any trouble seeing the floor when you got there?
No.
Were the lights any impairment to your view of the floor?
No.
How about anything else that it impeded or impaired your ability to look at the floor when you got there?
No, sir.
During the time you were at that store, did anyone complain about problems with seeing the floor due to the lighting?
No, sir.
While you were at that store, did anybody complain about problems seeing that floor due to the reflection off of the glass doors?
No, sir.
By the way, did Mrs. Klein make those kinds of complaints on the day of the incident?
No, sir.
Did she tell you she had any trouble seeing the floor before the fall occurred?
No, sir.
Did she tell you anything about a stalker who just stood there and saw her fall and did nothing?
No, sir.
Did she tell you anything about a stalker that just was eating pizza?
At that time, we know.
Okay. Well, in any event, the photo in C6, in terms of your location, are you generally in the halfway down the aisle, or where are you in terms of the total length of the aisle?
Roughly about halfway through the aisle.
Okay. And all these photographs you took are true and accurate depictions of what it looked like that day?
Yes, sir.
And I note on the report, there's no, Exhibit A. I think page 1 has a section where you can write down if there were any witnesses to the incident itself.
That's on the second page.
I was wrong again, sorry. On the second page, middle of the page,
Yes, sir.
there's a section in there to put down any witnesses,
Correct.
and that's blank.
Correct.
So, maybe conclude then that Mrs. Klein could not identify any witnesses at that point?
Objection, reading, suggested.
I'll rephrase it.
Yes, sir.
Did Mrs. Klein tell you there were any witnesses to the incident aside from herself?
At that time, no.
Did Mr. Klein identify any witnesses?
At that time, no.
Okay, I don't think I have any further questions. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the date of this fall, August 16th, 2009, you were a management trainee, correct?
Yes.
At that time, how many incidents did you become part of as this one prior to her being called together? Anybody else?
At this store?
Yeah. And how many, so I presume you never took a report at this store of anybody calling before this fall?
To my best knowledge, no.
This is the first time?
Yes.
Okay. And were you given any training on taking that report, or was it something you just picked up on your own?
No, we were given training on it.
And when you, how were you notified that there had been a fall on the floor?
I do not recall.
How was it that you arrived at the place of the fall with Elon?
Again, no, I do not recall.
You just meet in the middle of the aisle, or did she come and tell you, follow me, or
I do not remember.
you have no recollection of that at all? What were you doing right before?
I don't remember, sir.
What time did this fall occur, you know?
According to the report, it says 11:30 a.m.
Is that the time that you noted and recorded?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time the floor was swept before 11:30 a.m.?
Offhand, I do not know.
Did you ever find out later?
There's a sweep log that the court keeps every day.
That's not what I asked you. Did you find out later? Did you check to see when it was? You weren't interested in that.
Just never found out what
When you arrived there, it had been substantially after she had fallen, correct?
The time I arrived, did not know how much time there was elapsed from the time she fell and I arrived.
So you're just noting the date, the time you arrived, not the time that the incident happened.
Correct.
But you don't know what time the incident happened.
To my best knowledge, roughly around 11:30 a.m.
That's the time you arrived after she was still on the floor, correct?
I don't know if she was on the floor or not.
Well, I thought you testified that when you arrived, you saw her on the floor.
No, sorry, I said
You saw her standing,
holding her knee, yes.
standing and holding your knee. So you arrived there after the fall had occurred and she got up?
Correct.
You arrived there after you say the floor was cleaned up?
Correct.
You arrived there after the cones were put up?
Correct.
Did you observe anybody cleaning up the floor after the fall?
No.
So you don't know how long it was for the cleanup?
Correct.
And you testified you didn't see anybody there that was witness?
No.
So there had been witnesses there and left before you got there?
I do not know.
You wouldn't know that, would you?
No, sir.
So there could have been witnesses there, but you don't know anything about it because you got there later.
Correct.
Correct? Did you inquire if there was any other witness?
If there was a witness, I would have wrote down on this report that there was a witness.
But you can't tell us today from your memory that you asked if there was any witness.
No.
So So putting down that there wasn't a witness, it doesn't mean anything then, because you didn't ask if there was any witness, right?
Yes, sir.
Where was, Alana was the assistant manager at that time, right?
Yes, sir.
Where was she when you were interviewing or taking the statement from Christy Klein?
Right beside me, right here.
Did she suggest anything that you should put in there?
My best knowledge, no.
Other than refreshing your memory from this report, you really don't have a very clear knowledge of what went on that day, today.
No, sir.
And this was all new to you at that store, correct?
Relatively, yes.
Did you ask her if she was having any pain or any problems?
I asked her she wanted an ice pack, and I asked her she was okay, yes.
You asked if she was okay?
Yes.
And what was her response?
That her knee hurt, the left knee hurt.
You remember that?
It's in my report that her left knee was sore and it had scrapes, and she thought of that knee.
And she was offered a chair, correct?
Correct.
Who offered her the chair?
I couldn't even hear on, I don't remember.
Was the chair there while you were there?
Meaning, prior to me getting there?
No. You said, were you there when the chair was there?
Yes.
Somebody had provided her a chair before you got there.
No.
And where did the chair come from?
Either myself or Lana had somebody go get it, or one of us went down to her chair.
No, you're guessing, right?
Objection, Your Honor. He already testified. It was either him or Alana. Mischaracterized the prior testimony.
The point is he trying to find out whether he did anything to obtain the chair or who did it.
I think he testified that he or Alana got the chair. What else is there?
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you have a clear recollection of you getting the chair for her?
No.
Do you have a clear recollection of Alana getting the chair?
No.
So you don't know who got the chair? You know who cleaned up the floor before you got there?
No, sir.
So you really don't know where the water was before the fall occurred?
No, sir.
And you didn't see it after the fall happened?
No, sir.
To your knowledge, did Alana likewise not see the fall and the water on the floor before you got there?
To my knowledge, yes.
I'm sorry?
To my knowledge, you did not see it, yes.
Actually, other than some reference to the fall where the water is getting halfway down the aisle, that was the only information that you got from Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Did you take the statement and some pictures later?
I don't remember the order. I didn't remember.
Who told you to take the pictures?
That was part of our training process. When you have an accident, you take a report, you take pictures.
Nobody told you.
This specific day, no, that was part of our, when you asked if I was trained before, I was, and that's part of the protocol when you have an accident is to take pictures of the scene, take pictures of the person who is involved in the accident.
And how do you know what pictures to take? How did you know to take these pictures?
It's pictures of the scene, it's pictures of the person in the accident, pictures of the injury. That's part of what they train us to do.
What happened to the pictures after you took them?
They got downloaded and printed out so we could
email them to our corporate office, email them to our insurance company, and have a hard copy for our file at the store.
So these exhibits here are from the actual pictures you took before they were sent out?
Yes.
The floor consists of what kind of material? Where he fell?
It's a tile.
And it was a combination of what, gray and white, blue and white?
It's just multicolored, so yeah, the white, gray, and a greenish blue.
More than two colors?
I would say two colors.
What were they?
I mean, I know the two different colors. One is a grayish blue, the bluish green color, and the other one is a grayish white color.
And have you ever seen water on the floor of that store prior to this fall?
Have I ever seen water anywhere in the store?
Yeah.
Yes.
And when it's colorless, does it show on the floor?
Yes.
You can see that.
Yes.
When your attorney asked you what those pictures look like at the time of the scene, you indicated that you had no trouble seeing the floor. Right. But the water was gone by that time, correct?
The water is gone, yes.
Yeah. So obviously you couldn't see water on the floor at the time you got there, correct?
Right.
When you're saying that you would have no trouble seeing water on the floor, certainly you weren't referring to this scene where she fell.
You asked me if I've ever seen water on the floor next door before, and I said yes. When I stated previously that was there water on the floor when I got there, and I said no. You asked me that's two separate questions.
That's right. What I'm saying is that you can't say today that you saw or didn't see water on the floor when you got to this fall.
I said there was no water on the floor when I got to this scene.
Okay. You wouldn't know what it looked like prior to getting it.
This specific day,
Yeah.
I know what that water looked like now.
Were you trained to take, you said you were trained to take pictures of her shoes.
Yes.
Did you check to see if there was any water on her shoes?
Did I check? I don't remember.
Wouldn't that be pretty important for you to do?
Yes.
But you can't say that you did.
I said I didn't.
Did you check to see if there was any water on her dress or her clothing?
I did not see any water on her.
I asked you, did you check to see?
Physically check? No.
So if you didn't physically check, how do you know that there was or was not any water on her dress?
If clothing is wet, you usually can tell that clothing is wet.
No, I'm talking about what usual rubber do. I'm asking you if you didn't check to see if there was water on her dress, then you don't know that water was on her dress or not.
Correct.
So the only thing you're able to really tell this jury today is what you saw when you got there, which was after Christy Klein fell, after somebody came up to pick up the water, after somebody came up and put out all these clothes.
Correct.
So you have absolutely no idea what this scene looked like before you fell.
Correct.
When you got there, did you approach from the rear, from the back of the store, or from the front of the store?
I do not remember.
Did you walk past the cones?
I don't remember.
Was there any other water or dampness on the floor?
No.
you check it the entire length of the aisle?
And if I would walk, yes, there's no remaining water on the floor.
I just asked you if you walked past the cones and you said you didn't remember.
You asked me, I walked to the scene, and I walked past the cones. When I walked to the scene, I did not walk past the cones. When you asked me to do, I walked out to see if there was any water. That's a separate question. And yes, we walked the entire aisle after it was over to make sure there was no more water.
Was there any more water?
No.
Was it still damp?
No.
Was it dry?
Yes.
So it had to be a long period of time before you got there after the fall for the water to have been mopped up and dry, correct? You don't know. A lot of things could have happened in that aisle from the time she fell to the time you got there and made your observations.
Correct.
And there could have been witnesses to this, right?
Correct.
There could be a piece of it there too.
Good.
You know who Peter Paul is?
Yes.
Who is he?
He was a stocker at the store.
Did he work that day?
I believe so, yes.
He worked in dairy, correct?
That's who he was working that day. I don't know what department he was working that day. No.
Did you talk with him? Did you talk to the pizza lady?
No.
Did you inquire if there was anybody else in that aisle or who saw this fall?
At the time we didn't, and if there was somebody in the aisle, we would come as a witness. There was no one in the aisle who was not told us that there was a witness, so therefore we did not write down a person in the aisle or a witness.
You see this gentleman here, Timothy Klein?
At the time,
Pretty hard to miss this fall, right?
yes.
You didn't see him either. You didn't see him standing next to his wife or with the children when you took these pictures.
When I took the pictures when I first got there, I didn't see him. I went to Mrs. Klein, and one child was with her, and that's who I saw him on.
Well, you were aware he was with her, though, correct?
Later on, yes.
So he's the person that could have been in the eye, correct?
Correct.
You didn't take the statement from him. Why is that?
At the time, he said he didn't see her fall.
Talk with him.
During the conversation, during us talking to them, we did, yes.
But weren't you curious as to what he found afterwards?
Curious as far as what?
Water on the floor.
They stated that there was water on the floor.
Well, do you doubt that there was water on the floor?
To my knowledge, there's no water on the floor. From what I can see, there was no water on the floor. It is.
But from a sum total of what you know about this case, is there any doubt in your mind that there was water on the floor?
To my knowledge, there is no water on the floor. I did not testify to something I did not see. Or hypothetically, is there water? Yes or no? There was no, when I came to the hour.
Why would your personnel put cones out on the floor if there hadn't been water on the floor?
That if there was water on the floor and they came and cleaned it, then they would have cleaned up the cones out, yes.
So there was cones out there.
Yes.
Did that tell you something?
I'm not assuming anything. I'm assuming I'm testifying to what I saw. I saw cones and I saw no water on the floor. I cannot assume what they cleaned up.
But you can, as the manager trainee, testify to that. Cones are not put up unless there had been water there. Right?
No. There could be numerous things that are on the floor that they put cones up to block spill. I mean, there's numerous reasons why we use cones.
Well, you don't have any information if there was any foreign objects on the floor other than water.
No.
So the cones were put up to warn people that there still was a dangerous condition existing on the floor.
Not
Be cautious.
necessarily.
What are the cones for?
To aware that the floors could be slippery.
Oh. So that, I mean, you're a pretty smart guy, you're assistant manager, trainee here. Wouldn't that have made you conclude that there had been water on the floor and that's why the cones were put up?
No.
They were put up there for decoration?
No. There could be something else on the floor. I don't know what was on the floor. Any kind of spill that is on the floor, they would use cones. If somebody spilled anything, they would put a cone up for that reason.
But you never found out anything about why the cones were put up there, is that what you're saying?
They said that there was water on the floor, or potential water on the floor, so they would clean it up.
They being,
It would be utility clerk.
you talked to the utility clerk afterwards?
No.
Why not?
Was preoccupied trying to make sure Mrs. Klein was okay.
Well, you were more concerned about taking a statement from her. And you're more concerned about taking pictures, weren't you?
So the first thing we did was got her a chair and ice pack. So our first concern was making sure she was okay, and then we offered to fill out the action report, and she wanted us to do the action report. So that was all done by request of the customer. We don't automatically take pictures, automatically do a report. We would ask the customer, would you like us to make a report? And by their stating yes or no, that's what we do. And when they do a report, we do follow our procedures and how we do our
Don't
report.
you take reports of people even if they don't request it when you have a call?
If they don't want to give us their names or anything like that, we make a note in our store that we had a fall at a certain time. How you cannot fill out a report without a person's name or information. So if a person refuses to make a report, then you technically can't make a report.
But certainly you try to take a report. You have everybody that had incident in the store.
We would offer a customer that had an incident in our store, would you like us to fill out a report? And at that point, it's their decision, yes or no, to do that report.
So totally up to the customer, you're saying, as opposed to you taking a report of the incident, even if you see there's an injury? Aren't you interested in finding out?
Objection is a compound question.
Yeah.
Answers.
No.
Mr. Kuzman, I think he said
I'll
that,
withdraw and make it separate questions.
all right.
Isn't the policy of the store and your training tell you that you should try and take a statement from anybody that had an injury or a fall?
I stated that, yes. I stated that you would come up and ask the customer if we had an incident in our store, would you like to fill the report out?
As
If
opposed
they-
to somebody who is just saying, I want to take out a report. I'm saying, this is part of your job to try to get one.
Excuse me, Your Honor, could the witness be allowed to finish his answer without interruption?
Let him answer, Mr. Kuzman. What was your answer, sir?
Like I stated, that if there's an incident in our store, we would go to the customer and ask them if they would like to fill out a report. If they decline to fill out that report, we would still make note in the store that there was an accident in that store. A formal report requires name, address, phone number. If the customer is unwilling to give that information to us, there's no way to fill out a legit report. We would make note that there was a customer in our store at X amount of time to do that, yes.
But you would still take pictures. You would still take pictures.
Depending on what kind of accident it was, yes.
Yeah. You don't need permission to do that, correct?
Right.
And if you took pictures, you obviously would have to attach it to some kind of report, correct?
No.
You just take pictures and put them on somebody's desk and that's it.
It would be on file.
So, no writing, nothing whatever about,
You would note the date of the accident. Like I previously stated, you would take notes on that there was an accident in our store at this point in time and put it and have a file. And however, the state sanitation manager would do it. Some have files, some have binders. It depends on how they want to organize their paperwork. We have notes in there saying this happened in our store, but there's no formal report making out because the customer refused or did refuse. If the customer wants to report, you would get one of these.
all right. You indicated that when you talked to Mrs. Klein while you were in the process of taking this injury report, that she told you that water down the middle of the eye, correct? Where is that in your report?
About halfway down the aisle, she slid in a puddle of water, which would mean it'd be halfway down the aisle.
It's completely different from what I just asked you. You testified that when you talked to her, she told you that the water had...
I object to counsel characterizing the witness's testimony if he wants to provide a foundation as to what he means by middle. Perhaps the witness can answer more specifically.
Your Honor, he testified that Christy Klein told him that there was water that ran down the middle of the aisle, all the way down. That's what he testified.
So then just provide a foundation of the question.
That's talking north to south. So now I have a right to ask him about that.
Where in the aisle? Where? North to south.
And why didn't he put it in his report? That's what the inquiry is about.
Well, let's be a little specific as to where the water allegedly was.
Since you were not able to see the water, because it had been cleaned up before you got there, you asked Christy Klein where the water had been, correct?
Yes.
You testified that she told you that it was all the way down the middle of the aisle.
Yes.
My question is that in your report?
No.
Why not?
Could I answer that?
So she could have told you other things, and you would likewise not have to put that down. Right?
That's not a good question.
You wouldn't know, because you're not putting everything down in the report that she told you. This instance being a specific example of that, correct?
Okay.
So we can't depend on the report being exactly everything that she told you when you talked to her about. Something's missing in that one respect at least, correct?
In that one respect, she also signed it saying that this is what her statement was.
Refresh my memory, did I ask you if there was other reports in the business made when there's water on the floor that's being cleaned up? Is that done by another department?
I'm not understanding your question, sir.
Did the utility clerks make reports of water that they clean up?
An everyday spill, you asking?
Spills on water.
Every time they clean up water, you have to make a report. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No.
So we have somebody in your store that cleaned up a lot of water. You say they don't make a report of it?
No. I mean, if their job is to do floor maintenance for a day and there's a spill somewhere, they clean it up.
But there's no internal document report
For every spill in the store, no.
How about when somebody slips and falls on the floor and is injured? Does they make a report then?
If the customer would like to have a report filled out, yes. And then, like I said, if our customer does not want to fill a report, we would make note to day and time that the incident occurred.
Now we have a utility clerk trying to ask the injured party to take that.
That's not what I said.
She wants to make a report.
That's not what I said.
I'm confused there.
You were asking two separate questions.
When does the utility clerk make out a report after they clean up a water spill?
You're asking two separate questions. You asked me if the utility clerk cleans up a spill, do they report that to the manager? No. If there is an incident in the store and somebody sees an accident, they report that to the manager, yes.
There is no report made of when the utility clerk cleans up some water. That's my question.
That's not your question.
It is my question.
Now, it's a question. They would get a manager at that point in time.
And
And at that point in time, the manager would talk to the customer.
but he would not make any reports on it.
No. The architect itself does not make reports. No.
I thought you said that he would if the injured party wanted to make a report.
Objection. Mischaracterization.
Mr. Kuzma, that's not
Many times.
testified that he would get a manager and the manager would make a report if the customer wanted a report.
All right. All right, no further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Just a few more, Mr. Crowe. So again, if this is a Strack store and I happen to trip over this easel and take a fall and you're the manager that responds to the scene, you can't really make out a customer injury report unless I cooperate. Correct. So you would make some record of, hey, this tall, handsome man fell on the floor on this day and whatever it was, I tripped on the easel. And if there's something to take photos of, you would take photos too.
Yes.
So if the easel's down on the floor, you take a photo of the easel.
Yes.
All right. And when you do the description of the incident, I mean, it's a brief description on Exhibit A, page 1 and page 2.
Yes.
And is it fair to state that the only thing you know about how this incident happened is from what Mrs. Klein or Mr. Klein told you?
Yes.
And is it fair to state that anything about the substance on the floor, when she fell, would have come from the plaintiff? The only source of your information about what was on the floor at the time of the incident would have been what you learned from the plaintiff.
Correct.
And again, if there were any witnesses or they identified any witnesses, you would have mentioned them in the report.
Correct.
And was there any kind of pizza lady there when you were on?
I don't remember.
In terms of the accuracy of the report, page 2. Now you wrote that narrative in there, but then the signature underneath it is the plaintiff's. Correct. Kristen Klein's.
Yes.
And it says right above her signature. What does it say so I don't have to read upside down?
I submit the statement of voluntary and believe it to be true and accurate to the best of my knowledge.
And back again to Exhibit C. Put my pen in my pocket. I lose one penetron. See one again. You see, the tiles are some kind of blue something and white something, right? Yes, sir. Okay. And of course, you're not allowed to physically check a person to see if their clothes are wet. But if I fall down, you're not going to touch me.
Correct.
You're just saying from your visual inspection, you didn't see any wet spots on her clothing.
Correct.
And she didn't tell you that her clothes were wet.
No.
And when you take some photos of the shoes, one of those reasons is also to see if there's any kind of substance on the shoes.
Yes.
And you got, at least 3 or 4 of these photos show her footwear.
Yes, sir.
And if it hasn't been established, the only person authorized to make a customer injury report has to be a manager, right?
Correct.
Utility clerks are off doing a variety of duties. They're not there to interview customers, or they're not in a management position.
Correct.
They work under the supervision of the managers.
Correct.
And counsel asked this right off. So in all your time at this store, this is the only incident you ever remember happening.
Correct.
So nobody else ever fell in this particular aisle before, certainly.
No.
And then when assuming there's water on the tile floor there, how's it cleaned up? What does the utility clerk or clerks use?
Depending on the size of the spill, if it's a larger spill, they would actually use a mop and a bucket. If it's a smaller spill, they use a thing called spot mop, which is a small dry mop, head like this big. You can light up water or paper towel.
Okay. And in terms of the, are there stations in the store where combs and mops and things like that are located?
Yes.
Approximately how many were in that store back then?
Oh, there had to be at least 15 to 20.
Okay, so throughout the store, there's stations where any employee can access flags, or sandwich boards, or a dry mop?
Yes.
And it's fair to state that every Strack employee is responsible for safety and employee safety?
Yes.
And in terms of the location of the fall, again, that, all you know is what Mrs. Klein told you?
Correct.
And even though they said the floor was, you didn't see anything on the floor when you got there? It appeared to be dry.
Yes.
You would still put out cones just as an extra precaution?
Yes.
Just to be on the extra safe side?
Yes.
And your primary responsibility when you come to a scene where someone had some kind of incident is first to assess if they're okay.
Correct.
They ask if you're okay, you need medical attention, call an ambulance, things of that nature.
Yes.
And that's what was done in this instance.
Yes.
Okay, and only after that discussion has been had and some kind of resolution has been, a response has been received, would you inquire about making a report?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, if it's me and I took that, I took a run with that easel again, I got tangled with the easel, and I don't want to cooperate, I want to leave, you're going to be kind of limited and you're not going to be able to take photos of me, are you?
Correct.
I mean, I have to cooperate to a degree on that as well.
Correct.
And you're not going to take a photo of me if I don't want you to.
Correct.
Okay, I don't have anything further. Thank you.
No question, Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, now's your opportunity if you have any questions for this witness.